Right now, we do have a travel ban in South Buffalo. We have a travel advisory throughout the rest of Buffalo. And we're asking people, if you don't need to go out, if travel is not necessary.
So obviously, living in a big city like New York, you rely on the city of New York to keep the roads clean. And right now, they look pretty good. Again, we've got rain. Earlier today, when it was snowing, things also looked pretty good. And
in the city of Buffalo, heavy machinery has been brought in for roadside rescue, while police enforce a driving ban. Nothing and no one is going anywhere quickly.
Good morning to both of you. Well, we're catching a little bit of a break in the action right now. At around 5 o'clock this morning, that's when we were seeing those big fluffy flakes coming down. I would say, if we take a look right here on the ground, probably got about an inch or just a little bit more here in Howard Beach.
If you are trying to get in the city of Buffalo, please stay out unless you're emergency personnel, unless you're a first responder, unless you're authorized in an emergency situation, because it still is really treacherous out there and difficult conditions.
You can see right there, you got about 2 feet of snow. That's the benefit of TV journalism and live video. We can show you what's happening. And one person who's going to show us what's happening in real time is Chris Bruin from the Weather Channel.
A lot worse off than this, snow-wise. Make it through because the vehicle's heavy, spread salt, clear a path. And since they're a wide vehicle and New York City's got wide streets, it works out pretty well.
Tonight, a plane skidding off the taxiway in Rochester, New York.
Speed your discretion. An aircraft just split off taxiway Alpha 2.
Emergency vehicles surround the plane, racing to evacuate the 53 people on board.
Please stay at home so snowplows can do their job.
Well, the winter storm has canceled flights, halted traffic on major roadways, and knocked out power as temperatures plunge.
It's been tough because the driving ban is still in effect for the city of Buffalo. And so we haven't really left our house in about a week. I know most of the stores that have been open.
As far as what the roads are looking at, this is Cross Bay Boulevard. You can see pretty clear for the most part. There is a little bit of sticking on the sides, but overall, pretty good here in Howard Beach. I do want to get to video of what things look like in other parts of the city.
Wind comes down, takes the power lines on the ground. It is dangerous even for the utility crews to approach that in blinding snowstorms, so it's not going to be immediate. And that is why we're asking people to be safe at home, but I know there could be some very cold circumstances.
Hundreds of trucks and snowplows working to clear roads, with schools closed for the 4th day in a row tomorrow.
Any one of these snow mounds could be a car. You really have to be careful when you're driving through here.
People don't know this, but the Department of Sanitation, they have 700 million pounds of road salt just sitting around waiting to be used, which means that perhaps they were quite eager to spread it around.
Yeah, we got some snow.
Heavy snowfall, thunder, lightning. A potential historic snowstorm is pummeling areas surrounding the Great Lakes, with western New York State in the bullseye.
In New York State, one arm of local government is blaming another.
Mayor's not going to be happy to hear about it, but storm after storm after storm after storm, the city, unfortunately, is the last one to be opened, and that shouldn't be the case.
This is over in Manhattan Bridge Arch as the snow began to stick to the ground. It was slippery and slick for some of the cyclists out there. Accumulation could also be seen in Brooklyn and Prospect Park as well as Sunsets Park.
If you own a building or apartment, you're supposed to clean the sidewalk and create a path that is 4 feet long so that people can walk down it. 4 feet wide, I mean. And
where people don't have the power they need to keep themselves, keep their refrigerator on, keep the stoves on, so it's going to be dangerous.
And those gusty winds causing some major waves out towards the coast, especially in the Jersey Shore and Long Island, 40 to 50 miles per hour. An additional 4 to 6 inches could be expected over the next 24 hours. And I think
these things, what an absolute disaster. You got to be careful. And that's because for water drainage reasons, the road is lower than the sidewalk, and this is how you get up onto it.
It's turned very quickly. This is a very unpredictable storm.
Even with the warning, some people in Buffalo don't seem too worried.
We live in Buffalo. It's expected.
Temperatures pick up. There are dangers presented by this snow melting in these quantities. As they dig themselves out, they are digging in for the prospect of floods to follow.
And over in Washington Square Park, college students were making the most out of the snow. They were making snow angels as well as having snowball fights. And over in Woodside, Queens, snow can also be seen sticking to cars and roads.
The frustrating thing about walking around when it snows is that every building obviously does things differently, and there's a worker shortage. So the guy you have lined up to shovel and salt the place, he could quit, and now you're going to get a fine.
The New York City Sanitation Department has been around the clock. They've got over 2,000 plows and men and women plowing hundreds of miles of streets here. And again, the New York City mayor urging everybody to essentially stay home.